A freeform deformation is a type of modifier known as an FFD for short. As its name suggests, the FFD allows you to deform an object in a loose sort of way. And I used FFD modifiers on all of these back cushions here. I'll select one of them and isolate the selection so we can focus on it. I'll turn off all the modifiers in the stack to reveal the base object, the chamfer box. I used the FFD to drastically change the shape of the object from the chamfer box to the back cushion. Later on, I added the noise modifier to give it some random variation, and you already know how to do that. Let's focus on the FFD. It's not a parametric modifier like many of the other modifiers that you've learned about. Instead, you make changes to the FFD by directly manipulating the control points. And you do that by expanding the modifier and going to the control points level. That's what these little orange boxes are. And they're connected with what we call the lattice. This lattice is a simplified representation of the object that surrounds it. And it gives you a way to grab the object and deform it. For example, I'll select this control point right here and pull it out. And as I do that, you can see that the geometry inside of that set volume is deforming. Perhaps if I turn on edged faces, you'll be able to visualize that better. You see that? You can also select multiple control points by holding down the control key, or just by dragging out a selection window like that. Now I'll go ahead and pull those up a little more. Be careful that you don't deform it beyond the limits of your topology. Here in this case, I don't really have very many segments in this direction, so it would look a little bit chunky if I just did that. I might need to go back down the stack to the base object and add a few more segments in that direction if I wanted to deform the cushion in that way. I'll get rid of this modifier and go up to the modifier list, and this time I'll use an FFD 2x2x2. This is a simpler representation of the set volume. It has only 2 control points in each direction. Use this FFD when you're not concerned about creating internal deformations, but rather you just want to do something like this. I'll grab these 2 vertices on the bottom and then move them over to add some depth to the bottom of the cushion. I'll get rid of this modifier and we'll try the other one, which is the 4x4x4. It gives you more control points. And when we have more control points, we have more control. But you might have to move more vertices to get the effect that you're looking for. Now if I just move these 2 outer ones, I'm not going to get the same deformation. You see? I would need to select maybe all of the control points in this row and then move them. I might also need to select the control points inside here if I want to move it over a little bit more evenly. But when I have a 4x4x4, I have more ability to deform the object, so I could grab all these up here maybe, move them up a little bit. Another thing you can do is scale control points, and they will either get closer to each other or further apart. And that's another way to manage the deformation.